Sir Anthony asked a question about divine concession, and I don't think she was very satisfied with your answer. And may I put to you an answer that you might have given her and see,
Please.
see whether you would agree. We're all very familiar with this situation, surely, in the bringing up of children or in legislators passing laws. A lot of legislators would like to ban people ever taking a cigarette, but they know that that's just simply not practical, so they pass laws limiting the taxing cigarettes, limiting the points of sale of cigarettes, insisting notices should be put on cigarettes, and therefore they do allow it legal, but only under certain circumstances and with difficulty and with a view to moving things forward first. So, given that God creates a fairly primitive people, surely his way to help them is to make them better than their neighbors by giving them, he can't give them the lot, they can't take the lot, but they can take a limited point of legislation, and that's surely the thing to do. But of course the second question you might like to raise is why should he create such a people in this kind of situation? Well, it's a great good for humans to work out for themselves what is right and wrong. It's also a great good for humans to know the answer to what is right and wrong and to have it in front of them and to have a choice. But you can't give people both of those goods at the same time for logical reasons. So there's a good in creating a primitive people and letting them work it out for themselves. There's a good in creating a sophisticated people and giving them some of the answers. But they're, in a sense, equal goods. But with luck, the primitive people will get a bit further forward. And if they don't, then it becomes the legislator, God, to help them forward, to push things a bit, and to move them to a right situation. And surely this is the picture of the two parts of Scripture. People subject to, knowing only as much about moral truths as a concessionary morality would allow, being put in a position, through their prophets and so on, to advance, not making a great deal of progress, being given a much better code subsequently. And that seems to me a perfectly rational act of God, and I don't see what the problem is in that.
Did you want to comment on that answer?
No, I think that was very well said.
You liked it, huh? Okay. Our time is growing short. We'll try to take as many as we can. Next one right here in the front.
John, this is a quick question for your conclusion part about the subjecthood of in animal sacrifice. It's clear that you bring in this quasi-Hegelian idea of evaluative transfer within your Kantian framework. However, it's not very clear without consent, especially animals' consent, how could the subjecthood of animals can be defended here as in your conclusion part? Thank you.
I agree with that. I don't think that the subjecthood of animals is fully respected. But on the other hand, I don't know what it would mean for animals to consent, because they don't have the right kind of cognitive equipment to do that. Just repeat that I'm not trying to defend animal sacrifice for the present, just to make it more intelligible. And I think the notion of evaluative transfer does that. But I'm not left without problems.
Alex, I think you were next.
So my question, I'm not actually wasn't entirely sure if what. So okay, do you think that for the Israelites, 4,000 years ago, that it was morally permitted for them to sacrifice animals?
Yes. I think that what Maimonides said is good. rather like what Richard Swinburne said, that they had been used to sacrificing animals idolatrously, and in fact, perhaps sacrificing humans as well. And at least in the neighboring cultures. And God, as a concession, allowed them to go on sacrificing animals, but required that it be done to him, or to Yahweh, and not humans to be sacrificed. So that wasn't the best. If you mean by justified, was it the best possible? There is a possible way for humans to live that's better than that. But was it a proper stage through which they went? Yes.
We have just 2 minutes left or so. Eleanor, you were the next on the list.
This is a comment with a question tucked into it. In every human life, there is surely development. I mean, everybody here who's of a certain age can accept that there's been development in his or her life since you were 12 or 13. But do you really want to say that you are now morally better, spiritually better than you were at that age? That would seem to me to be saying a lot. In the discussion, the endless discussion of the development of the people of the Hebrew Bible, Jews and Christians, there's a suggestion here that what we've got on the part of the people of the Hebrew Bible is people who are somehow subpar morally or religiously. And I have to say, I mean, I don't know what the polite words are to describe my own reaction to this suggestion, but I have a strong, very negative reaction to this, and I would suspect that the Christian tradition in general does. In the people of the Hebrew Bible, you have David, the beloved of God, you have Moses, who spoke with God face to face, and so on. And who do we have in the period of the Christian tradition about whom any of those things could be said? So I agree that there needs to be a discussion of development here, but one of the things you might say is not that we're better, it's that we're sadder. Because one of the things you'll learn in the course of the years is how bad it can get for humans, because however bad it might have got over the slaughter of the Amalekites, they got nothing like the Holocaust in their history. Don't you think I'm right?
You can answer the first or second part of that.
There's a tendency to say what I've said a bit differently, which I think would be horrendous. Kant, I admire in many ways, but he sometimes falls into this problem of a kind of anti-Semitism would be one way to put it. I don't want to say that we're morally better than the ancient Hebrews. I do want to say that we have been shown standards that they hadn't yet been shown. In the life of Christ, we've been shown that. But we fall short of those standards, just as they fell short of the standards by which they were living. So I don't want to say there's an overall moral improvement.
Okay, I know there were other hands, but our time is up, so I thank, again, our participants.